All right, so we can cool here is with Wes Cage. How you doing, man?
Excellent, thanks. And yourself?
Oh, good, man. It's a pleasure to have you on here. I've been listening to that new track to Wolf of yours, and that is awesome.
Thank you so very much.
So as I listen to the track, it's almost like saying that there's like we're all two sides of the same coin. You know, we have our ups and we're downs. Is that what right? Is that what I'm reading on the track?
Absolutely, yeah. There's two powerful polarities that exist within all of us, I believe, and song's completely about the dichotomy.
Now, how did you come up with this track?
Well, my manager Blasco had me do a series of writing sessions, and one of those sessions was with Keith Wallen, with Breaking Benjamin, who I was very honored to work with. And uh, during that session, I had started to talk to him a little bit about a little bit about the symbolism that I'm into, and from there we started to make the track, and it was born shortly after.
Now, prior to this, were you friends with Keith, or did you were you friends of listen to Breaking Benjamin, or how that all come about?
This was the first time I ever met him, the writing session, and it was just awesome to get straight to work with him.
That's awesome, man. I mean, you guys meshed perfectly. I mean, it came out fantastic.
Thanks so much.
Now, going forward here, are you guys going to continue writing together? Is there going to be a full album, or is it just a one-off? What are you doing here?
Well, that was just the what the for the one song. I would definitely love to work with him again, though, because there's definitely a chemistry there, and that song, the Wollf, just has such a great fluidity to it, and it'd be great to work with him again.
Now, the video is quite cool itself too, man. You take on both personas on there. I mean, how did that all come about, like the shooting and everything like that?
Well, it was definitely quite a bit of work to play both the characters in one day. Um, Luckily, my fiance is a really talented and experienced costume designer and fashion designer, and she was able to distress the suit that I was wearing to really make it look like I had been on the streets and wandering about for years, Um, and we just it was a lot. I mean, we had to have a guy as a double, so when I would dress up as the higher self, I was looking at a guy dressed as me in the disheveled look, and then vice versa. But Vicente Cordero, the director, he's also done a lot of Cradle to Filth videos. He definitely saw all this in the lyrics, and I'm glad that this depiction was done.
Now, is that why there's the mask going on in the video because you're filming with yourself and it was easier to do so?
The mask was just to kind of make the higher self look more intense and ominous in some ways too. Um, but the we cut it in very well, where it really looked like I was two people.
It's actually a really cool piece, man. Did you get to keep that, or is that yours?
I didn't get to keep it, no.
I figured you would have, put that one away. You know what I mean? In case there's another outbreak, got your own special COVID mask there going on. Now, with this is a different direction from your past music. What made you want to go in this format?
Well, I definitely wanted to connect with more people. My solo album I did in 2015. That's definitely music that could connect with more people. But this is just taking that desire to the next level, I think, and I want to make something radio friendly so that I could really reach everyone.
Now, going forward, do you have more tracks written? Or is there stuff that you're ready to put out, or Are you still in the process of doing more in this genre?
Well, I'm still writing. Making music is a monthly thing for me, but I have several tracks that I want to put out along with the Wollf. So um, there's tracks that I really would like to put out, especially because they would be essential to the live performance.
Now, going forward, is the music going to sound similar to the Wollf? Is that going to be your new style?
It'll be redolent of it in some ways, but I'll definitely have songs that are a little heavier and in a different scales for sure. But it's still going to be the clean singing and definitely still going to be hooky and stuff.
See, now I appreciate the fact that artists are going ahead and going in the single format now instead of a full album. I mean, these days it's hard to keep people's attention to get a full album out there and have them be like, oh my God, this is that. Because 2 weeks from now, who knows what's in their head? You know what I mean? This way, each track comes out fresh and it brings you a new audience as you go forward.
Definitely. It definitely does that.
Now, is this the last we've seen of Arcane, or are you going to go back to death metal one day?
Well, I just recently wrote a black metal track for a film because a character turns on the radio, turns on his car radio, and I guess he has his MP3s and stuff, and there's a black metal song that turns on. But I mean, as for like Eyes of Noctum and all that's definitely done. But that's still black metal is still the kind of music I listen to at home. It's still very much so a part of me.
Now, what do you enjoy performing more? I mean, I understand with the new project, you want to be more radio friendly and get a bigger fan base. But as far as like your preference of, what you're doing on your own, do you prefer to go for the harder stuff, or do you like this new style you're getting into?
I definitely like the style I'm doing now because I've always loved such a variety of music. I also grew up with a love for new age music and also new metal, or like bands like Korn and System of a Down. I always listen to as well. So there's that, but it's just that there is that one album that's laying around from Eyes of Noctum that never got released, which I don't know what to do with.
So maybe one day we might get to hear that, or you're just going to keep that locked up in the vault.
I think maybe it might be good to release one day.
Yeah, like I think as you get older, it's probably easier to go in a more easier rock fashion than I mean, I don't know. You don't see too many older metal guys out there still.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Now, does it bother you when they do press like this and you read it, you're billed as Nicolas Cage's son?
I find it interesting that I thought that maybe for the first 15 years, 20 years it would be that way. I didn't expect it to go into my late 20s and 30s. But it's almost like a medieval way of introducing me. It's like Weston, son of Nicolas Cage from Yorkshire. It's very like it's just very. But I mean, I'm proud. I'm proud to be my father's son. He's my favorite man, the most profound man I've ever met. But I do find it interesting because it's like other people are just referred to by their names. People know who they are, and everybody already knows who my father is. So it's interesting that they keep calling me son of.
No, I mean, growing up, it had to been kind of hard because I can remember years ago, like you'd be out with your old man and paparazzi would be taking pictures and shit like that. And then you'd see like the headlines in some tabloid are like, "Can you believe Nicolas Cage Son's a metalhead? Look at the paint on him. Look at the makeup. Look at this, that."
Yeah, it was interesting, that's for sure. I mean, I did a show once where I forgot what I had said, but there were a couple shows where people were there to taunt me when I was doing my black metal. Um, and at that time in my life, I remember I wanted to prove myself in some. I was more open to proving myself in some malicious ways, so I was trying to. It did cross my mind to, you know, annihilate those guys while I was on stage to see what would happen with my, with the, if I would get some press for that, but I didn't do it. I did say some things back to them, and then they stopped taunting me. But
Well, I mean, you're doing a fantastic job of making a name for yourself. Like I said, the Wollf's a new direction. It's a great track, and it's really, proving yourself that you are a true musician.
thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's definitely been a long time. I've been working on my craft.
Now, is it true that you almost got into a fight with Tommy Lee?
Yeah, I that was hilarious. It was pretty hilarious. He It was very convenient for him to have security. I remember I got enormously angry because he shoulder checked me, and I already knew going to that concert. I just sincerely dislike him. I think I just didn't want to be around. I didn't want to go see that show really, but I do like Vince Neil, and my dad is friends with him, so we went. But when that happened, you remember when he shoulder checked me, and I was just ready to obliterate him. But he had security and everything, and it didn't wind up happening, and I got escorted out. But yeah, I didn't understand why he would do that.
How old were you at the time?
I was about 23.
So he's significantly older. So he's like, fucking should know better than to you know what I mean?
Yeah, it was weird. He wanted me to beat something.
Well, it would have been an interesting headline there for sure. Wes Cage pummels Tommy Lee. Was this
Yeah,
before or after the show?
after.
Oh, there you go. So it would have been even better.
Yeah.
Now, going forward, do you plan on taking this out and doing more shows on the road? Are we going to see you doing some tours, things like that?
Definitely. I intend to really make sure to have this album, and all the work I do, and also the Wollf available for people to hear live.
When was the last time you played a show?
The last time I played a show was, oddly, it's been so long. It was 2015. I played a show with the Wes Cage project in Texas.
So going forward, do you have a band that can be there? Do you have everything ready, or is just hired performers that you have so far?
Definitely hired performers. But then again, I have a guy that I'd like to be. There would probably be certain musicians that would be full on. Like I have a guy that I want to be the drummer, um, completely, and always be the drummer. But I might have some revolving positions as well.
Now, what would a current Wes Cage show be? Would it be just newer music, or would you play stuff from your old bands, or what do you think?
It would be the new music. We would play some old tracks though from my album Prehistoric Technology, because it has some pretty great tracks on there that I think would do great live. And um, there's also a couple tracks that I'm going to be. They're older than the Wollf, but they haven't been released yet. That'll be on on the roster.
Now, earlier you mentioned that you have songs that you're planning on writing that would go good on stage. So does that mean you have like something in your head set up for like a stage performance where these, would be theatrical? Would it just be, what did you mean by that?
I definitely have an idea of what the concert would look like and sound like, and there are some songs that definitely need to be played live to bring variance, I think, and make the Wollf almost become more accentuated because of the beauty, clarity, and grace of that song. Definitely, I want to be mixed with some tracks that are also a little faster and also sometimes a little heavier. That'll get people's psyche to be exposed to diversity.
Now, when you do plan on going out on the road, I mean, it's going to be a different experience. Sometimes I see like actors that become musicians and stuff like that. They don't always get to play the bigger places right away. So it's going to be almost starting fresh as a band does, where you're playing the smaller clubs and theaters and things like that. Are you prepared to spend all that time on the road and doing all this as coming up?
I definitely am. I've missed playing live and being on the road. I would definitely like to play some festivals that are. I think the doing festivals would be the best.
Now, what kept you out of music for all this time? Like, you said the last 2015, that's almost going on 10 years now.
I really wanted to establish my acting career. It was, I had to really kick through that door and make my place so that people knew that I was not just doing it as a hobby and that I'd been acting since I was a kid and that it was something that I've done simultaneously with my music. So as soon as I established that and got that really ready to go and everything in 2020, I went back to my music career and wanted to get it off the ground and out in the public again.
So how do you plan on balancing that going forward and going from acting and doing music? It's a big commitment depending on which project that you're going on. Sometimes films take months to, years or whatever to get done, and tours can go on for, look at Kiss. I mean, they're going on for what, 2-3 years for their final tour?
Luckily, since my acting career has been established for a while now, I'd say 2018 onward, it got pretty established. Now my acting is starting to propel things and benefit my music, and then my music's benefiting my acting, and vice versa. It's like now both halves of my occupation, they're starting to serve each other, which is great.
Now, when you're doing films, do you say sometimes to the director, like, hey, this song would be perfect for here. This is what I wrote. Can we squeeze this in somehow?
Yeah. I always try to make sure that my ethic with the directors that I work with remains the same, in that I can really execute what they envision, but then also that I'm offering everything that I'm capable of, even if that's like because when I film, I sometimes hear melodies when I'm doing a movie of what that film should sound like in the big screen. And luckily, I've been doing this kind of like 2-in-1 deal now, where it's like I'll act, but then I'll also score something or provide them with music.
You're a pretty private person. I mean, you try and stay out of the limelight a lot, live your own personal life. Now, with social media being such a big thing and promoting music, do you find that hard? Because you don't want people, to get in too deep with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm definitely careful. I try to keep it always artistic, and I don't expose as much of my personal life as other notable people do. I think that I'm probably saving that for my biopic or autobiography or something to really show everything.
You see, I truly miss that. I mean, back in the day, rock music had a mystique to it. I mean, would hear rumors of shit going on. You really wouldn't know because it would just be a rumor. But now you got people showing their fucking lunch. This is what I had today. I mean, their whole life is on a social media platform for everyone to see.
It has taken away a lot of mystique, that's for sure. That's something that my father has preserved. You know, he doesn't he's not allowed that mystique to go away for him.
Now, see that, like, you know, that was a perfect example of I asked you about the Tommy Lee thing. It was a rumor. It wasn't, you know, we heard that it might have happened. You know what I mean? But nowadays, people with their phone and whatnot, that would have been recorded tenfold. It would have been TMZ that night.
Absolutely.
Now, going forward, people want to follow up. They want to hear this track. They want to buy the single. They want to know more about maybe some tour dates or things like that. Where do they go? What do they do for everything?
Well, one of the best ways to stay in contact with what I'm doing is definitely my Instagram at Wes Cage Coppola, and then also the songs. We have this up on YouTube through Pavement. It's on Spotify. It's also available to be purchased and downloaded. iTunes as well.
Now, Pavement is a wonderful label to be a part of. How did you go about the club?
Pavement's exceptional, and I feel very lucky to be with them. My manager Blasco had suggested that we go with them, and got me a contract before we released this track, and I signed it.
Awesome, man. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I love the Wollf, and I can't wait to hear some more music coming out of you.
Thank you so much. Pleasure speaking with you as well.
All right, man. You take care of yourself.
Too.